Hey folks, so this video is going to be about my thoughts on baby showers, and why I think they're like the dumbest thing you can possibly celebrate on the planet, along with gender reveals, right? You know, whether the baby has a penis or a vagina or, whatever, and you just celebrate that for some strange reason. Humans are dumb. I mean, if you actually sit back and look at the customs that we have, the things that we celebrate, it's really just too stupid. I mean, every year people celebrate the sun, the earth going around the sun for another time, as if that's some wonderful, spectacular thing that has never happened before. I mean, it really is kind of neurotic, the amount of meaninglessness that humans celebrate and attach meaning to. You can see a frog leaping across the grass and you could just attach a meaning to it and celebrate it. That should be a holiday. Frogs leaping. That's never happened before. you know, it just makes zero sense. You haven't done anything miraculous. These baby showers are just pretty much people applauding the fact that a man ejaculated inside of a woman and got her pregnant. That's really it. That's all you're celebrating. A guy had an orgasm. That's what you're celebrating. If you really break it down to the very basic uh, idea behind it, that's what you're celebrating. Another orgasm in the long list of how many needless orgasms in the world, right? It's not spectacular. It's not a miracle. You just brought a baby into the world who's going to have to suffer, who's going to have to deal with wants, needs, who's going to have to make it. They're going to have to struggle. They're going to have to die ultimately. And in between that, there is a lot of pain and suffering. There might be some moments of joy, but usually, if you're honest, life gives you more potent sufferings than it does blissful joys. And even those joys are only temporal compared to the pain and the struggles that entail everyday life for everyday people. So, you haven't done anything worth celebrating. What you did was create another person who's going to become a corpse. And that to me is the insidious part about it, is that while these people celebrate the birth of a child, they never celebrate a funeral. Isn't that ironic? They forget that one entails the other. The moment you have a child is the moment that you have a funeral. It's a slow progression towards that point most of the time, but that's ultimately what happened. You just created somebody who is going to be a corpse. And I think people get so hung up on the goo goo gaga stage that they don't remember that. They don't think about that. But you haven't done anything that hasn't been done already by mammals all over this planet. Every mammal reproduces. Every organism reproduces just about. Okay, it's not something that has never happened before. And it's just going to continue adding to the overall suffering on this planet, the misery on this planet. Every child born is another story of misery waiting to happen. You just subjugated somebody to another possibility of a life of misery, suffering, and strife for no reason other than the fact that a guy had an orgasm. So let's celebrate that. Let's bake cakes. Let's blow balloons and light candles for a fact that a guy got a woman pregnant. That has never happened before. Let's celebrate that as if it's a miracle. It's fucking stupid is what it is. If you really think about it, it's fucking dumb. And every time I get an invitation to a baby shower, I always refuse. I never go. I don't care if it's family, friends, I don't go. In my mind, I think that me just attending a baby shower, would be a form of me congratulating the person. And I just don't want to participate in that. I make my absence essential. It's known that I'm not going to be there. don't send me an invite to a baby shower because I'm not going to show up. That's how I protest. I'm not showing up to that because my participation in that would be akin to me saying you did a great job when really what you did was something terrible, selfish, and needless. And it's not even hard to get pregnant. It's not. Theoretically, you could fall in the kind of position at the right angle and get somebody pregnant. It's not very difficult to do, okay? So you're celebrating the most base act ever. Lay down, do a few thrusts with your hips, ejaculate, wait a few months, and there's a baby. It's as simple as 1 + 1 is 2. It's very simple stuff. It's not extravagant. It's not wonderful. It's not beautiful. It's everything opposite of that. Okay? So the fact that you celebrate this really goes back to the neurotic side of humans. This neurotic need to constantly reproduce, this need to just give in to the biological urge and bring somebody here at all cost, and then justify it with some stupid bullshit because that's what everybody else did. And I think that's another thing about it. Everybody else does it, so why not? All right. If it was popular for people to walk off fucking cliffs and die, why not? Because the masses are that stupid, and I think that they probably would do something like that if it were popular. You understand? But yeah, going back to the point that I made, why don't they celebrate funerals? It's one and the same thing. It's the same event. When you have a birth, you have a death. All that clapping turns to crying. Okay? And people just repeat the cycle back and forth, because they don't really stop and consider the prime cause of death, the prime cause of suffering, the prime cause of struggle, misery, and strife. And it all goes back to birth. So why celebrate that and mourn death? They're both the same.